Waive the right to read these evaluations. If you are afraid of what a professor will say about you, don't ask them for a letter. My nemesis made sure to point out to the committee in a formal letter that because of problems with all of the professors that would be writing letters, she wanted to make sure their letters were appropriate and of the correct tone and content before we sent them off. Therefore she would review them before approving them for inclusion in her packet. Nobody wanted to drop the atom bomb on her and write a true letter as, lawyers. And she would see all of these letters, as would her counsel, before we sent them. So our hands were tied. But one brave soul went around and solicited her letter writers into creating sublime choruses of praise. These would be the letters you would expect to read to the Nobel Committee about Hawking, Einstein, Newton, and Feynman. We are talking true works of art. Nobody would believe that a student with this background or MCAT score could get one of these eulogy masterpieces, let alone a whole panel. And I included a note from the committee stating that the student had previously filed academic complaints against each and every professor that wrote her a letter. Therefore these letters may not reflect her true academic potential. We got our FERPA lawyer to check this with a fine-tooth comb, but our committee had a duty in our committee recommendation letter to inform those reading the professor's individual recommendations if there may be a mitigating circumstance or formal action that could influence the veracity and quality of the recommendations. The student didn't have the right to see that part unless they request it later, after the letters have been sent out, unfortunately for them. So she carpet-bombed the medical schools with primary applications. Every MD, DO, and offshore school that existed got one. The cost must have been staggering, but with parents that can afford lawyers for their brat in undergrad, I am sure they footed the bill gladly to get her out of the house. Within her application packet came those beautiful letters, and those 3 explosive paragraphs explaining that this student filed academic complaints against every letter writer, and did not waive the right to keep their letters secret. It doesn't take a genius on the admissions committee of each of these schools to read between the lines on this one, and drop that application in the trash before granting an interview. She did not get one interview. More than 30 applications. Not one school invited her to continue her application process.